For this one, I have these tissues from the Dollar Tree. They were $1.25, but I have seen these types of tissues in these cylinders. I believe they're for your car, and that's why they are shaped like that. But you can find them at Dollar General for $1. I'm just wrapping it in some copy paper to cover up the design. You could also do this craft with a pillar candle from the Dollar Tree, one of these battery powered ones. Or you could use, I know they sell these at a lot of the holidays, these Tootsie Roll canister. You can find other types of candy, but I've noticed these Tootsie Roll piggy bank canisters that this would work for that as well. I have this whole jar of eyeballs, googly eyes, and I considered the last time I cleaned my craft room to throw them away, but I'm glad I didn't. I forgot about Halloween. A lot of times you'll have sort of, craft supplies that are sort of, childlike, and you'll think, well, am I ever really going to use this? But at Halloween time, if you do Halloween crafting, you probably will. This is a flour sack towel that I got from Walmart. I believe it's about $10 for a 10 pack. And they have it has the look of gauze, but you can absolutely get rolled gauze at Walmart for $1.50. Now, the rolled gauze, it will sort of stick to itself, so there will be very little gluing that you have to do. You kind of, would probably just glue it at the beginning and the end of your wrapping. But I took just random strips of this flour sack towel here and just wrapped and hot glued it to the canister. After I hot glued on the eyeballs, I took a little bit of the towel, a strip of it, and covered. It makes it look better when you're making a mummy to cover up a little bit of the eyeballs instead of it just being glued to the surface, if that makes sense. Wrapping the top is optional, but I feel like it gave it a more finished look to cover some of this top part in the towel as well. It doesn't have to look perfect, because this is just sort of a quick, fun craft, and I kept chuckling as I was making this because it looks like you're using his mummy wrap as tissues. Today I'm participating in the Just Our Imagination playlist challenge that is hosted by Kathy Jo DIY's Rustic and Lace DIY, and this month the co-host is me. Every month we have 3 challenge items, and this month the challenge items were a ladle, a sponge, and an egg. So it was fitting that I did a Halloween video because these challenge items are scary. For this one, I took this ladle from the Dollar Tree and I bent it down. You can see before I started filming, I just wanted to see how easy it was to bend, and it was very easy. And I'm just zip tying it to this container here. There's lots of different types of containers you could do this with. You could use a tin can, but I had this spray bottle that the sprayer part broke, and so I was keeping this bottle to craft with. And I have these fairy lights. I'm just going to glue them to the canister here. I'm going to wrap the fairy lights around it and tape it as I go. I took the rest of that flour sack towel and I layered that, and I don't know if I showed this, but I did put a dot of hot glue underneath there once I had it looking how I wanted. But that was the underneath layer, and then I covered that with a piece of an old lace curtain that's sort of ivory colored. I have this self-adhesive felt. You can find self-adhesive felt, but it's super easy to just glue some felt on there for eyeballs. This was another super easy and super quick one. This is just a quick reminder that if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. That way you don't miss any future videos. I thrifted this old ladle a while back. I'm just going to cut off the handle with these bolt cutters that I got from Walmart. I got these mini ornaments. I believe I got these last year. The past couple of years, the year before last, they had a larger mouse ornament that they sold separately, and then last year they sold these smaller mouse ornaments in a multi-pack, and it came with elves and Santas, and it would have been better to transform the elf into a witch, but I couldn't find, I know I had another elf, but I couldn't find it. So I had these two Santas, and so I had to figure out, I had to get this beard off of here, and it came off mostly cleanly. I mean, there was a little bit of the beard left stuck sort of to her jaw, but you couldn't hardly tell. Well, Santa's a he, but this is going to be a she because I'm turning this into a little witch. I took these 4 beads and glued them with E6000 to the bottom to make feet for my little cauldron, and then I gave that a coat, actually a couple of coats, of the ink chalk paint by Waverly. I painted the clothes black, and then I'm going to turn the Santa hat into a witch hat by making a brim and then just slipping that over the existing hat there and cutting little slits to pull the ears through so that the ears aren't getting mashed down on her head. I got a little bit scissor happy, and where I cut a little too much around the ears there and it's showing the white mouse fur, I just took some of that ink chalk paint and painted over that so you couldn't tell. I have this Halloween table runner from the Dollar Tree, and I was going to create a little cape. I took some black twine and just hot glued that to this fabric and just basically tied it around her neck and then cut away while she was wearing it to make it look, decent. I don't know if I just didn't push record, but I broke the legs off of this little wooden chair from the Dollar Tree, and then also took this flower wood cutout, and I believe I got that from the Dollar Tree as well a while back, and I just made a little circle and then glued those little legs, just 3 of them, to this stool to make the witch a little stool to stand on. I stained the floor and the stool with this Varathane gel stain that's in my Amazon store. I never thought I would use these sort of ping pong balls that are painted to look like eyeballs. They come in a big pack at Dollar Tree. I just took a little bit of antique wax and aged it up just a little bit to make it a little creepier and make it look a little less fake. Didn't help a whole lot. I did glue that eyeball down in the center of the cauldron, and then I glued the cauldron to the floor as well as the stool, and then I glued the mouse to the stool. I have these little glass jars from the Dollar Tree, and I also have, I believe I got the little amber ones from the Dollar Tree as well. I filled the amber one up with some hot glue just to look like there's some liquid in there. And I have this glitter glue that I've had for ages and ages, years and years and years, and I was glad to finally find something to do with it. I'm gluing most everything down in this project so it just stays in case anyone picks it up, nothing will fall off. I have these plain yellow sponges, and I'm just going to cut some wedges of cheese out of it and put it into the cauldron because, it's a mouse witch. So if, she's making potions, it would probably include some cheese in there. I don't know if she's making potions. She could just be making her some supper. I don't know, but either way. The eyeball looked a little bit dull, and eyeballs usually look a little bit glassy, and so I gave it some, I put some dishwasher safe Mod Podge because I don't have any gloss Mod Podge, but the dishwasher safe is gloss. I have these little foam bones from the Dollar Tree. They're glittery. Why, I don't know, but I went ahead and painted them with some toasted marshmallow to make them look a little older. I have this little wooden spoon here. I cut it down because it was way too tall for the mouse. It's going to be her big stirring paddle. And then I did stain where I cut that off so that it would, it would look a little bit better stained. There was a little bit of a dot next to her nose where I cut away the thread, but I couldn't get the thread out of her face. But I just thought, well, witches usually have moles, so I just left it there. So we'll say that little dot next to her nose is a mole. This is just the first Halloween video of several this year, but if you're wanting to watch some more Halloween videos right now, you can find some on my channel. If you go there and click playlists, I have my videos organized by seasons or holidays, and so you can see there I have several Halloween videos to watch, so you can click on that and it will play them all, consecutively in a row. For this one, I have these Easter eggs that do not open. I got them from Dollar Tree and they're just for decoration. Now, it would make it a lot easier on you if you could find some Easter eggs that open long ways, vertically, I guess you would say. Also, those giant plastic Easter eggs that they sell that have like different candies in them, that would work really well. That would make a big plant. But this will be sort of, it'll be a small version of this plant. But I'm just going to cut this egg in half using my Dremel tool here. It's mostly just burning, just melting the plastic. So if you had a wood burner, that would work as well. And I'm pretty sure that I could have done that with an X-Acto knife as well. I'm going to make some teeth for my plant, and I just cut the ends off of some skewer sticks and toothpicks. But you could also make teeth, just shape some out of the clay as well. To make some gums for the plant, I did roll up some pretty thick snakes, 2 of them out of the clay, and I just glued them to the inside of the mouth with Aleene's glue. I stuck the teeth in the gums, and then I rolled out 2 really skinny snakes out of the clay to give the little plant some lips instead of just that harsh cut edge of that plastic. I wanted to give, sort of some lips there. And I did use some water to smooth that clay out. I gave it a coat of ivory chalk paint just as a base coat. I have this little terracotta pot. I don't know if I got it from Walmart or Dollar Tree, but I did give it a coat of watered down antique wax. In the movie, the pot wasn't really aged. It looked kind of like a new terracotta pot, but I don't know. I just felt like a brand new looking pot didn't go with it. So I did age that up a little bit. On the tops and the bottoms of the plant, I am using some hot glue and making some thin little lines. The picture of the man-eating plant on Little Shop of Horrors looked like it had some ridges on the top of its head and then underneath its jaw. Now for the paint, I just layered on some beige paint and some green and then topped it off with a little bit of darker green, just trying to let each of those colors show through, trying to give it some dimension. I'm not all that good at this, finishes on things, but I thought it looked okay. I just looked at a picture of that plant in the movie and, just tried my best. I didn't have any purple paint, and I wanted a certain shade of purple to go inside for the roof of the mouth and in the bottom inside of the mouth. And so I just mixed up some colors. I just played around with it. I did darken it up a little bit, and I painted the inside of the head here. And then for the gums, I tried to make it look a little more red. And I did end up just getting the red paint. I couldn't get it red enough, and so I would just go over the purple with some red, just mixing it together, on the gums there, just not letting it dry, and just mixing those together like that. I didn't want it to look like it had lipstick on, but I wanted it to have a little bit of a red tone and not so much of a purple. The teeth were looking a little too bright white for, an evil plant, alien plant. So I took some toasted marshmallow, went over the teeth to yellow them up some. I took some greenery, from some faux florals, and, layered 3 together and then bent them to make a neck. I wanted the neck to be fairly thick. In the movie, the stem or the stalk of this plant is fairly thick. I just wrapped that in some masking tape. Now this is also going to act as the tongue inside of its mouth, and so I did paint the end of it pink. I used some E6000 to glue the head to the stalk, and I used a piece of a square block as a spacer because I didn't want the mouth to close completely. I wanted it, to be a little bit open, and so I used some E6000 and then glued that in there and used a rubber band to hold it all together while the glue set up. And once that glue did set up, it was pretty sturdy, but I went ahead and went over that with hot glue as well, just for extra hold. So what do y'all think? Is it close? I think you can tell what it's supposed to be anyway. Stuck that down into the floral foam, added a little more hot glue for some extra stability, and I took some faux flowers and just took off some of the greenery and some of the leaves. In the pictures, it looked like it had some leaves around the back, around its neck, sort of pointing forwards. And so I tried to do that with these leaves. And that also covered up, how he was put together, the stem going into his head there. I wrapped the rest of the stem in some masking tape. And then I filled in all around him with more floral foam, really packing it in and filling in every little, crevice and space that I could find. I have this berry garland from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the berries because I just want the vine part. I'd like to get some of this. You can buy just brown vine. I know you can buy it on Amazon anyway, where it doesn't have the berries, where it just looks sort of like a stick. So I'd like to get some of that one day. It's like a vine without any florals, without any berries, just plain brown vine. I know you can buy that. You might can buy it at craft stores as well. I did paint that floral foam with burnt umber, and it looked pretty close to dirt. but I didn't want a whole lot of the dirt showing, and so I did paint. I didn't have any dark moss, so I painted some Spanish moss with the English ivy green, and that worked out well. In the photos, the plant looked sort of like it had a luster to it, and so I did go over that with some matte Mod Podge, which isn't super shiny, but it gives it a little more shine than if you left it without a top coat, and that'll also protect it and seal in that paint. Don't forget that this video is a part of the Just Our Imagination playlist. I will have the links to the playlist and the host's channels down in the description box of this video. And so you want to go over and check out and see what everyone made, all the other crafters in the playlist, what they made out of a sponge, an egg, and a ladle. These are, I feel like this is the toughest challenge we've had in a little while. I feel like we had a little bit of a break there for a while with the really tough challenge items. There might be like one really tough item mixed in with the 3 out of the 3. But this one, to me anyway, maybe the others don't feel like this, but to me it was like all 3 of them were pretty tough challenge items. I do want to thank the hosts for hosting this and letting me be a part of it. I'm sure you've already heard of and are already subscribed to Kathy, Jo, and Brenda's channels, but if for some reason you're not, definitely go check out their channels and subscribe. You will not regret it. But that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you in the next one.